Spotlight 2020. I am your host, Gail Nicholson. So good to see you again. This is, what is this, Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. You know, if you're like me, you've lost track of days once or twice in these last 6 weeks too. So give me a little slack here. We're doing really good actually with this coronavirus lockdown. I hope that you are too. I hope that this show has given you a few techniques and strategies and tools to keep you from losing your stuff now and again during these chaotic and confusing times. One thing that may or may not be helping the matter for you may be the colors that you've chosen for your decorating in your environment that you've been kind of stuck in for the last few weeks. With us today is an interior designer that knows an awful lot about how color can impact your mental state. And that's one of the reasons why I was so excited to find her and invite her to come onto the show, because I know how powerful that is as well, but she's so much better at explaining it. So please help me welcome Ms. Jeanette Chasworth, interior designer at thecolorwhisperer.com. Thank you so much for being my guest today, Jeanette. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure and privilege. When I reached out to you originally, or actually, yeah, it was before I reached out to you originally. One of your friends recommended you to come on this show, if I'm not mistaken, and gave me your website, and I went and I looked and I went, "Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Absolutely perfect." So, give me a little bit of background and for our audience of what the Color Whisperer is all about and how you got to being that.
So I love color. When I was in design school, we had a class in psychology of color, and it amazed me. I saw how it was affecting me in every aspect of my life. And one of the things that really hit home was that I had asthma when I was in my early 20s. And I went to a healer, and he was able to help me get rid of the asthma. Part of that process was getting rid of grief. And when it came time to do that, I was crying so bad. I went to get a towel because it wasn't the Kleenex towel. And I remember standing in front of the cupboard going, I need the green towel, because green helps you deal with emotional change. And I was going through a lot of emotional change. And then I discovered something I call the personality of color. And what this is, we each have our own design blueprint about the colors, shapes, styles, textures that empower us. And when you live in those colors, you just become more alive on so many levels. It's like being in your favorite outfit, how great you feel. Imagine if your home can make you feel like that. That's what I do.
That's beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. So tell me a little bit more about how color can impact people, because like you said, like being in an environment in the home of your right colors can make you feel like you've got your favorite outfit on all the time. So tell us more about that, both the good and the bad of
it. Let me start with giving some basic examples so people understand how this is really affecting them. So a lot of airports, doctors' offices, and hospitals have blue in them. And the reason is blue helps you forget the passage of time. It makes you feel safe. And you see it a lot, like when you go in the hospital, oftentimes the gown is blue. Blue actually helps with inflammation. So it will help retard the inflammation, which is pretty incredible.
Interesting. I did not know that. Very good.
So that's one way. Another place you'll see it is in restaurants. If you go back to what we used to call a coffee shop, like a diner kind of coffee shop, you saw a lot of orange and red. Both of these colors make you hungry. They actually make your food taste better.
Well, that explains a lot for McDonald's, huh?
Right? And then there's another part too, but because the combination is such high energy, high intensity, most people don't like to stay in it very long. And it's called fast food for a reason, right? They want you to come in and get out. And
Nice.
so you don't linger in those places very much. Now that we have coffee shops like, Coffee Bean, Starbucks, and places like that, you're not going to see those combinations there because they want you to hang out. So
Yeah,
this is just a
a
couple
friend
of
of mine
them.
used, I'm sorry, a friend of mine used to say that Starbucks isn't about getting the coffee, it's about the experience. It's about being that person with the white cup with the logo on it when you walk into work. Yeah, they're selling ambiance. They are not selling good
Yeah,
coffee, right?
no.
Please continue.
So when you take that, all of these things, when you go looking at things that you buy, all the colors they choose, they're creating a feeling, they're creating an emotion. Every color has an impact on you. And so then when it comes to your personal colors, so this is kind of a rust color. This is a great personal color for me. It keeps me grounded and it makes me feel good. So it's not one of my power colors. It's just my, like, I feel good in this color.
Like a comfort color.
It is. It is.
Okay.
Um, Green is another good color for me. I find that people typically are green people or blue people. And you pretty much already know which one you are because that's what you gravitate to. And it has to do with how you deal with stress. So there are some people that create a lot of change and there's a lot of change going on around them all the time. And those are usually green people. Blue people, they need that kind of stillness to rest and to relax. And that's what that blue does. It elongates time, or actually you forget time. And so, yeah, so it can help in that respect.
Very nice. Awesome. All right. Now, how can you use your colors, right? Or each person use their own individual palette of colors to
Mm-hmm.
impact their immunity and their ability to heal and that type of thing. Is that even possible?
Color has such an amazing power to heal. And so I told you a little bit about my story of the asthma. What had happened was when I was a year old, my father died. And at a year old, you can't calm, your brain doesn't get how to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he was able to release that grief, I needed that green to help me deal with the change. When I'm going to a client and I'm producing a lot of change, I will often wear green because it's giving them, oh, we're going to make a lot of changes. Um, Sometimes I will dress in the colors of what their project is because it just makes me feel more congruous to them. So there's a lot of ways to boost your immunity. Ultimately, immunity is about feeling good. And so it's being in colors that keep you calm, whether that's blue or green or pink. I've been doing, pink's not generally a color I use a lot, but I've been using that. That helps you calm physically as well.
Okay.
And it's what gets you excited. So when I'm feeling really creative, this is my color. I need orange. Orange is a great color for creativity and excitement. And we need to have more of that right now. We need to be creative. We're stuck in our homes and, instead of sitting and being in fear and anger, which there's so much of out there, that's hurting your immune system. So you don't want to have reds because that's gonna pull it down. If you've got high blood pressure, you don't want to be around a lot of red because that just aggravates it. So whether in your clothing or in your surroundings, I find I go to different rooms of my house for different things because each room is a different color. I have to.
I love it. I love it. You know what? That begs another question as well. Are there certain rooms that should be certain particular colors? I mean, this is a very 80s 90s mentality, but the kitchen's got to be yellow and the is that a real thing, or is that somebody trying to sell you something?
Well, It depends on who you ask. Okay. So
Okay.
here's my take on it. Okay, there are a lot of designers out there and a lot of books out there telling you, oh, you got to do this because, it's generic design advice.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean it's bad. Yellow's a good yellow's a good color for kitchens because it's friendly, it's creativity, and the kitchen's the heart of the home. That's where everybody gathers.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you need to have a yellow kitchen? Absolutely not.
Thank God.
Because no,
I don't look
yellow's
good in
not
yellow.
for you. You're not a yellow girl. No, I'd never give you yellow. No. So for me, yes, there's some blanket statements. There's some blanket things about color psychology
Mm-hmm.
that do work. And those books are not looking at the individual. They're looking at, oh, here's some design advice that will appeal to a good chunk of people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how I design, and that's not how I think design should be. We really need to design for the individual, especially in a house. This is your sanctuary. This is your castle. It needs to fit you. It doesn't need to fit what some book says, or the designer of the week on HGTV. Now, if that resonates with you, by all means,
Mm-hmm.
but it needs to fit your soul. It needs to fit what feels good for you. And I always tell people, pick your colors with your gut. Have you ever had a time when you just suddenly went with a whole different color, your wardrobe changed, and
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's you're choosing with your gut. Your gut's not going to go wrong because it knows. I had a client years ago, little girl had nightmares and was sleeping in mom and dad's room. She's 9 years old. And turned out she was having nightmares from 9/11 5 years after the fact. We went in there and she had all these big wide stripes on the wall, and she had dyslexia. So these stripes were like this. They were shaking. So 9/11 never ended for her.
Oh my goodness.
I
Yeah,
explained to mom, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I explained to mom that yellow actually helps you learn better. Remember in school, the walls were kind of that funny yellow,
Mm-hmm.
but yellow helps you learn better. And I explained this to her, and she says, you know what? I can't get her out of the living room, and there's lots of yellow in there. So this little girl's gut knew where she needed to be.
Yeah.
She didn't know how to voice it. She didn't know how to fix it. And that's what we need to do. We need to listen. And I'm very good at helping people listen to their gut. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I facilitate that.
That's wonderful. Now, specifically with grief, how can color help you release grief? Because I know there's even with us sitting at home, we're grieving the loss of our jobs. Many of us, we're grieving the loss of people that we usually see and can't, be part of, like hug anymore. There's actually a lot of grief that we're dealing with right now. And how can we use color to do that and to make that as easy as possible?
Oh, absolutely. And I've been going through it too. And I'm using color in every way I can. And there's the three colors they've talked about that are calming colors. It's
Mm-hmm.
pink, it's blue, it's green. And I've used each one of them. And it depends on what level of grief I'm going through that day. If I'm having difficulty dealing with change, I pull out the green. Blue is you're just kind of in this, oh my God, what's going on? And I don't even know how to deal with all this information that's coming at me. And there's an element of can this just stop for a minute?
Mm.
Yeah.
Right.
And pink is just very soothing color. They've actually used pinks. There's a special shade of pink that they use in police stations. And they put people who are very violent in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're on drugs or something like that. And it will calm them down very quickly. So I know I've had days when I'm just my there's a lot of anxiety, and I'm just you're almost kind of feeling like shaking.
Sorry.
It's okay. So the like you're just kind of like shaking a little bit. That's a day for pink. And then
Gotcha.
on top of that, you want to take those moments of getting out of that fear and getting inspired. So yellow is an inspirational color. Orange is an inspirational color. And you want to use the colors that fit for you. So
Hmm.
like for me, I wouldn't do like a bright yellow. That's not working for me. Bright, I need kind of a gold color. This is my orange. It's not bright orange, but this gives me that creativity. This
Hmm.
gives me that inspiration that I need. And so finding out which colors are going to help you. Um, do you do muscle testing? Do your people understand muscle testing?
I believe
You know
so.
what
Yeah,
I'm
I do muscle testing. I'm sure a lot of the people that are watching do as well. At least of
so
my audience.
okay, awesome. So that's a really great way right now. Just go in your closet and pull out something to muscle test it. Say, is this how to do it? And I'll show you one technique that's really easy. You kind of do this with your
Hmm.
pinky and your thumb, and then you take your other hand like a little bird, and you just open. So that's one way.
Interesting, because this is how I do it. I chain link my thumb and fingers, and if
Uh
it
huh.
breaks, it's a no. If it's strong, it's a yes.
Yes. Well, mine's it's
Yeah,
a
it's
little
just
bit more
yeah, it's
muscle.
very similar. I was like, yeah, it's different. Okay.
There's
Okay,
another
cool.
one where you can do like this,
Uh huh.
and if your fingers touch, but if they don't touch, it's a no. If they touch, it's a yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got more, but anyway, muscle test and see what color do I need today. Ask your body,
Mm-hmm.
what color do I need today? What room has the best color for me in it? It could even be. I've been doing a lot of Zoom calls,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a virtual background of trees. And I'm telling you, just looking at me being in this beautiful, it feels like a tree house. And
Mm-hmm.
that calms me and makes me feel so good and so alive. So instead of watching TV, just start looking at art. There's so many ways we can get healthy vibrations of color in our bodies.
That is so very true. So very true. You're bringing to mind a lot for me because I'm moving this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, into a new space entirely. And for the last 9, 10 years, I have been in a rental house where it's all beige trimmed in white, and the only color allowed is what I bring to it, right? In my accessories and stuff. So as you can see, there's a lot of black, there's a lot of brown. The color pops are provided by my photography and my crystals, um, you know. So the new place that we're moving into has this beautiful, I hate to say it, sea foam green. Um, and there's a part of
Good.
me that went to Detroit public schools and went, okay, this is institutional. But this is so institutional. But it's also beautiful. It's very beautiful. The colors, that the very dark
Very sweet.
woods, the nice light marble, and the whole space feels very comfortable, like, and comforting. And I'm really excited about moving into that space. So what I don't know. What do you think that I should bring to that space?
So that seafoam green may actually be a very good color for you. But right now, you definitely need more color. I want to see some brighter colors. I love the burgundy on you, but I'm still wanting um, more. And actually, what might be a really great color for you is teal.
Mm.
Um, a little bit more blue than green. Teal is a great color for communication.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great color for you doing this show and other things that you do. And I think you've got blue eyes, yes?
No, I
Can't
don't
see.
actually. I'm the only blonde in my family that doesn't have blue eyes.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm a freak.
no. Okay, then you want to do more of the green teal. But green
Either
teal will
way
be
goes
better for
really
you.
well, I think, for me. I am attracted to both the light green teal and the blue teal. In fact, sometimes it gets a little confusing in my closet because they're so close that they don't go together, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. All right, now I wanted to also ask you, there's this concept that you've talked about called design therapy, right?
Yes.
Now, is that just your color choices, or is there more to that?
Oh, there's so much more. So there's a lot of things, the shapes and the textures that you have around you make a big impact. So some people need a lot of texture. I'm one of them. I need a lot of texture around me. You can see I've got the trees, the furniture behind me. I thrive on that. There are some people that can't handle that much. The shapes that you have around you also can help fortify you. I mean, you've been into a room where you're just like, ooh, you don't even know why you just like want to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably because it doesn't mesh with what fits you. And then there's stuff. We all have stuff. And the stuff comes in one birthday at a time, one holiday at a time, one shopping trip at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets, you don't realize how much stuff you have. And everybody has their own level of how much stuff they need to feel comfortable. For some people, that might be a vase on the table. For other people, that may mean the table's decked out for Christmas dinner 365 days a year,
Mm-hmm.
And then there's everything in between. So it's knowing what truly fortifies you. And a lot of times, there's an old dressing adage that you put everything on and then take one thing off before you leave the door because you probably put too much on. and and that's probably the
Oh
same
yeah, with
thing.
accessories, I remember that. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So our houses, I had a client one time and she was this very strong matriarch woman, business owner. And like when everything went wrong, everybody went to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go to her house and on her fireplace, there's all these really cutesy ducks and like flowers around their neck and like pinks and light blues. And like she was a very strong woman and these were not her colors. And I said, do you like these? She said, well, no, I think they're kind of too cute for me. I said, well, then why do you have them on your fireplace? Well, people keep giving them to me. And I said, okay, I'm going to give you permission to tell them, blame me, just blame me and tell them that my designer said these do not work for me and take them off. And I don't care, I'll take them away if you want, put them up a cupboard. I don't care, but not on the fireplace. Mm-hmm. She did have some beautiful bronze ducks that did fit her. Mm-hmm. And we left those.
Nice.
But you want to be able to see what's important to you.
Yeah, yeah. That's very interesting that she had those like front and center as a focal point, as if she was trying to focus herself into being more of what people thought of her.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. So that begs the question, can you actually do healing through design, and how does that work? And especially in the day of coronavirus quarantine, can you do that online?
Yes, I can. So I've helped a lot of people get through grief through design. Part of it's by changing their environment. That's a big chunk of it. And finding the right things that make them feel beautiful, that fortify them, that support them. So it's what I've been talking about. It's the right colors, the right shapes, the right textures, and the right styles. And that you're recreating yourself. When you go through grief, it's like your world stops and you cocoon yourself up and you have to break that cocoon and you have to be able to see beauty again, and not just around you, but within you. Because how you get out of that grief is you've got to fill that hole, and you fill that hole with more of you. And so I help show people more of them that they didn't know was there. And I do actually do some healing work. We talked about the muscle testing. So I do some healing work. Mm-hmm. And there's an element of I'm doing it unconsciously almost. I didn't realize this till just recently. I took a class in something called integrative healing, where I can do home home energy clearings.
Nice.
And I went to a house to do that, and the house had been renovated and everything, but it didn't feel like the house that I'd done. So I did this clearing, and we got finished with the clearing, and now it felt like a house that I did.
Nice.
And I was like, I've been doing this in people's homes, and I didn't even realize it. And because I do also do the energy healing, for people who are open to it, I can actually help them get through the battles of grief. And I can do that virtually. I've got all kinds of fabrics and stuff. I can pick out colors. I can pick out paint colors virtually. So there's a lot that can be done over Zoom in the mail. I mean, we do need mail. I mean,
yeah, if I'm gonna need textures for like swatches and stuff like that, I imagine you would have. Yeah, you got to feel that. Yeah. Tactile.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it takes a little bit longer, but yes, I can.
That's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So tell me a little bit about, this is what you're offering today, is that 50% off of your Redesign Your Home virtual service. And then all they have to do is visit your website, thecolorwhisperer.com/redesign2020. I just love that as a title anyway. Redesign 2020. Throw it out, do it over. This is broken, it's not working. Let's redesign this, make it work from the Yes, so thecolorwhisperer.com, Redesign 2020.
So sorry.
You're fine. What was that?
Let me hang on.
Okay.
Can you stop? Can you stop? You can't hear me. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh.
What is going
on? Redesign 2020 is, everybody's stuck in their homes, and
except for that guy out there mowing the lawn.
Except for that guy out there. He can't hear me. I tried to get him to stop. Anyway. So there's a lot that can be done often with just using what you have. And so this was my thing, like, there's a lot of ways that just redesigning what you have, moving it, looking at your accessories, seeing what's too much, what's too little. There's a lot that can be changed and give you a whole new look on your environment. And right now that's your life. Your home is like, this is truly your world.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make it easy for people to be able to have that better environment and quickly. So that's what the Redesign 2020 is.
Awesome. So yeah, definitely everybody who is watching, listening, our audience right now, please go to thecolorwhisperer.com/Redesign 2020 and take Jeanette up on her offer, because it can't hurt and it'll only make things better. I promise. Okay? Awesome. So Jeanette, do you have any final thoughts for our audience today?
I know we're beginning to come out of lockdown, but we've been in this place. You've been in your home for a while. I know you've been looking around. People have been cleaning. This is time to be creative. We got to make something fun happen. We got to be creative and enjoy our homes. This truly is your sanctuary and your castle. And I want you to just take the steps you need to make it what you need it to be.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today, Jeanette. You have a wonderful day. And thank you, Facebook. When you open yourself up to actual energy work, makes that recovery progress so much faster. That recovery is possible. You do not have to live as a victim until your last days. You have unbelievable strength, and I know that because you're still here. Do you want to create something completely unrecognizable with your life?